Hi, dear students. Now we are going to start Unit 3. Your book is composed of 3 units. First 2 unit was cell and classification and microorganism. Now we are going to start Unit 3. That's about the plants. Plants. What are the plants? We are going to study the plants. First of all, Chapter 9. Unit 3 is composed of 3 chapters, chapter 9, 10, and 11. We're going to start from chapter 9, that is plant classification, and we will classify them. That is classified to some phylum. We will study them, and also we'll study the structures in the next sections and the functions of the parts of the plant. We will study them. Okay. Now, first of all, this chapter is composed of 5 sections. Section 1 is plant diversity, and also we will study the other sections in the next lessons. First of all, let's start with the plant diversity, our section. The section 9.1 is plant diversity. Plant diversity is what? Some plants are less than 1 millimeters. Means that's so small in width. Okay, they are so small. Okay, we will study them even. And some plants grow to more than 100 meters in height. We have some plants that they are so tall and they grow too much. And we have 12 phylum or division of kingdom plant. Kingdom plant is composed of 12 phylum. We will study all of them, and they include more than 270,000 species of plants. Even now, we have 300,000 species of plants. This one just for your extra information. Now this number is increased to what? To 300,000 number. Okay, this one is a plant diversity. We have so small plants and we have also so large or high tall plants. And classifying plants, the phylum and division of plants can be divided into 2 groups. Generally, we can divide them to 2 groups that based on what? Presence of vascular tissue. Vascular tissue that is vascular tissue that is a xylem and phloem. That's a tube. They use it for transport of materials and water. We will study them also. According to the vascular tissue, we have what? We have non-vascular plants and vascular plants. Non-vascular and vascular plants. Non-vascular, they don't have vascular tissue, and vascular plants, they have vascular tissue. The non-vascular plants, they have neither true vascular tissue, they don't have vascular tissue, and they don't have true root and stem and leaf. They don't have true root, stem, and leaves. Sorry, I'm going to write by mouse because of that. Sometimes the letters is not so proper. And most members of 9 phyla, means 3 phyla from that 12 phylum of the plants, 3 phylum of them is non-vascular, and 9 phylum of them are vascular plants. That they have what? They have vascular tissue. They have vascular tissue. And they have also what? True root and stem and also leaves. Okay. This one's number 3. Okay. And let me write it again. Number 3. Okay. And this one is classifying plants. And this figure is so important, you have to know about it. not all of them. You have to know some of them, and we will study all of these things here, this information here during the section. You know, the non-vascular plants is the first one, and vascular plants is the second one, second group, according to the formation of the vascular tissue. And non-vascular, they have three phylum, 1, 2, 3 phylum. But vascular also, they are classified to some groups also. We will study them. And we will study these informations here that is in this figure. And classifying plants according to the 12th phylum of the plant kingdom, we classify them to the two main group, that is A is what? Non-vascular plants, and B is vascular plants. Non-vascular plants, there are three phylum, that is the Bryophyta, we will study Bryophyta, and the mosses are their example, and Hepatophyta, that is liverwort, and the Anthocerophyta, that is hornworts. Okay. And vascular plants are divided into seed plants, and the seedless plant, the plants that they don't have seed. Also, we will study these things. And the gymnosperm and angiosperm, and we will study the others also. First of all, non-vascular plants. Non-vascular plants, we are going to study the first one, the Bryophyta. Non-vascular plants, these are examples of them, such as mosses and hornworts and liverworts. Their cells is like liver, because of that they're called liverworts or Hepatophyta. And non-vascular plants, non-vascular plants, bryophytes. Bryophytes are very small. They are so small. They are small plants. We can call that. Non-vascular plants, they don't have xylem or phloem. Usually 1 to 2 centimeters in height, means they are short, they are so small. And bryophytes need water to reproduce sexually, such as we have the spores transportation ways, that is raining, water and air and some insects. But for the bryophytes, water is the factor for reproduction, because the sperm must swim, must go through the water, swim through the water to an egg, and to fertilize it, and to a new plant to be formed, a new plant of bryophytes. And now we are going to continue from the phylum Bryophyta. The mosses are the example of them. The mosses body consists of two parts. They have a gametophyte, that they have a gamete, even antheridium or archegonium, that is sperm and egg, female part or male part, and a sporophyte that spores are formed and stored there in the sporophyte. The thick green carpets, they are like carpet, okay, because they are like herb, like carpets of moss, has root-like structures. Root-like structures means they are not root, they are root-like structures called rhizoids. Rhizoids, unlike roots, rhizoids, what do? They don't have vascular tissue. Because of that, this phylum belongs to the non-vascular ones. But rhizoids do function like roots. What's the function of rhizoids? The function of rhizoid is the first one, absorbing water, like roots. They absorb water and absorb what? Inorganic nutrients. Inorganic nutrients. That's the second one. The second one is inorganic nutrients absorption. And let's continue. The phylum Bryophyta. Mosses help prevent soil erosion. You know, the mosses help soil from erosion, and the big problem of the agriculture is erosion of soil, and mosses help prevention of this erosion. By what? By covering the soil surface, by covering the soil surface. First of all, cover the soil surface such as a carpet. This one is the first one. And absorb water. Also, water causes erosion, and they absorb that water, they use it. So this one is the second way to prevent soil from erosion, by the way of the mosses, that they are belong to the Bryophyta. They are examples of Bryophyta phylum. And the last thing about the phylum Bryophyta is Sphagnum or peat mosses. It's a genus of mosses that is mined like a mineral and dried. They will be dried for use as a fuel source. This one is mostly also used in Canada as a source of fuel, and they have to be dried. Okay, and let's continue. Classifying plants, we are going to continue. We studied the non-vascular plants. Now we are going to study the B1, the group B, that is what? That is the vascular plants. Vascular plants are composed of what? Seed plants, the first one, and seedless plants, the second one. The seed plants, they are gymnosperm and angiosperm. We will study them. And seedless plants, they are fern, club mosses, and whisk ferns, and horsetails. These are examples of what? Examples of seedless plants, that they are vascular and seedless plants. Now, we are going to study vascular plants. What are the vascular plants? Vascular plants contain specialized conducting tissue. Conducting tissue, we said that we mean by conducting tissue xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. In Kurdish, it's called darkunian. That transport what? What's the function of the xylem and phloem? Transport water. Transport water is the first one. And transport what? Dissolved substances. Dissolved materials. From where? From one part of the plant to another. Sometimes from the root to the leaves or the stem. So we call it from one part of the plant to another. And also we have vascular plants that can grow larger. They can grow larger and live in more environment than non-vascular plants. Non-vascular plants, they are simple, they are smaller, they are not so tall. So vascular plants are divided into two main groups, that are seedless plants and seed plants. Now we are going to study the seedless plants. What are the seedless plants? From the name of it, seedless plants are those plants that they don't have seed. Okay, they don't have seed. Okay, or seedless plants lack seed. They don't have seed. Spores are the mobile sexual reproductive part of the seedless plants. Spores are used for reproduction in the seedless plants. That they are vascular and they are seedless plants. These plants comprise four phylum. We have four main phylum of the seedless plants. That is Pterophyta, this first one, and Psilotophyta, this one is second one, and Lycophyta, third one, and Sphenophyta is the fourth one. And the examples of them is ferns and whisk ferns and club mosses and horsetails. And phylum Pterophyta as an example of the seedless plants that are vascular seedless plants. Fern belong to the phylum Pterophyta. And represent a diverse group, a large group, a famous and a so wide group. Some of the ferns are floating plants. They are floating plants. They are less than 1 centimeters, but some of them, they can reach 25 meters in height. Means they are so high, so long. Ferns have mature leaves. The leaves are mature, and they're called fronds. As you see, these are the leaves that are mature, and they are called fronds, which carry sporangia. They have a sporangia. As you see, these red dots, they are Sporangia, that is on their lower side. The lower side of the leaf contains sporangia. This one is belong to the phylum Pterophyta. And sometimes it's so long, such as you see here. This fern is a tree fern that sometimes they reach 25 meters. Okay. Now, vascular seed plants. We said that vascular plants are grouped into two parts, that seedless plant and seed plant. Now we are going to study the seed plants. The mobile sexual reproductive part of the seed plant is the multicellular seed, unlike the seedless plant that was spore. They are multicellular seeds. Okay, the seed that's composed of many cells. Okay, when conditions are favorable, the condition is good, what will happen? They will grow, and the seed will sprout or germinate. They will germinate. As you see, this one is the germination process, Chakrakilden. Germination process. That is the embryo begins to grow. As you see here, the embryo start to grow into a young plant, as you see here. And this process is called seedling or germinating seedling of plants. That the plant comes from the seed. So it's called seedling. Okay, now let's continue. Vascular seed plants, there are two main groups of the vascular seed plants. Also, they have two main groups, that they are gymnosperm and angiosperm. We will study all of them later. First of all, the gymnosperm, the first group of the vascular seed plants, the gymnosperm, first one, produce naked seed. Their seed is naked. They are not covered. They are not enclosed by a fruit. And most of the gymnosperm, they are evergreen plants such as pine and the others. And they bear what? Their seed in cone shape. As you see here, these are cone shapes that bear the seeds. And let's continue. Vascular seed plants, such as what? The second one is angiosperm. Angiosperm, their seed is covered, is enclosed. So they also have another name, that's flowering plants. The flower then grows and becomes a fruit in some plants. They produce seed. They are seed plants that are enclosed. This one's the first one. And protected. Closed and protected in what? In fruits. In the fruits, as you see, these are flowers. Not every flower become fruit, but the flowers that become fruit, what will happen? They are protected in the fruit. What is protected? The seed of the plant is protected. Because of that, we call them vascular seed plants. And one of the examples of the gymnosperm, that their seed is naked, they are not enclosed, they are not covered, the phylum Coniferophyta. The conifers include pine, such as pine trees, noble. They are very important source of what? Source for wood, paper. This one's for education. It's so important. And dressing, such as the chewing gum. And the ornamental plants, such as the plants that use it in the birthday or Christmas. This one is the fourth one. That is the important of the pine, of the conifers. We use them for that four main aim. And let's continue. And the phylum Anthophyta, this one is the largest phylum and the most widespread phylum of them, that they are angiosperm. The seed is covered, is coated by the way of the fruit. The ovary is the female part of the flower is the ovary. The ovary is the female part that encloses the eggs of them. They are largest. The phylum Anthophyta is the largest phylum of the plants. That is nearly 240,000 species. Means the largest phylum of the plants. Some are like herbaceous plants. Some of them, they are like herb, as you see here. These are like herb here. And others like shrubs, as you see. Some of them like shrubs. And some of them like vines. This one like vine, as you see. Or some of them like tree that are, they have woody stems. Their stem is rigid, hard, and tall. And the last thing about this section is monocots and dicots. Monocotyledon and dicotyledon. The flowering plants classified under phylum Anthophyta are divided into two main classes. The first one is monocotyledon. As you see here, this one is monocotyledon, that they have just one leaf, let's say leaf of the embryo. And the second one is dicotyledon. Dicotyledon, they have one and two leaf that covers the embryo of the seed. And because of that, this one's called dicotyledon. Di means two, and the other is called monocotyledons. Monocots, that they are one, just one leaf. Okay, leaf-like structures that cover the embryo of the seed. And as you see in this picture, this figure illustrates the monocotyledons and dicots, that they have some characteristics that they share. That characteristics, if you know just one cotyledon, if you also draw this one, and this one is enough for our section for examination, and the others is also they are extra information for you that they share according to the cotyledon. They share this extra information here. These are properties that they share between them. And this one is end of the section 9.1. Thanks for all and have a nice time.